There we go. So we got this painted started, and I thought I'd start recording just a little bit late so we could get something on the paper first. And so just the lights are going to represent the water. We've got a suggestion as where some of the branches are going to be. Now I'm going in with the darks. And so I'm going to start finding those rocks. Now I've got to tell you, the rocks themselves are so interesting. Like here's one here. Make a little bit more. That's a little more yellow ochre. Like I love this yellow ochre on this one. Even got a hint of a brighter yellow in there. Diary log yellow is probably what I really want there. And then here comes that olive green that I think is going to be really great on these rocks. And so this rock comes down this way with this beautiful moss all over it. It has a little bit more texture in it. Going to wrap around that way. But what's really fun is in these rocks, you'll be mixing wet into wet colors, colors that touch each other, and then blend and do some of the work for you. There's a little bit more of a gray, purple gray in here. And then we get down here and again with the purples, a little bit more purple with a little blue in it. Coming this way. So these are the rocks now down here. It comes like this. And then let's start finding these rocks. Let's start finding them. So then we've got this one. We've got this mossy color on top of that. Again, that olive green seems just about perfect for this rock coming this way. And then it comes all the way down here. And then we pick up more rocks down here. And it's got a little bit more burnt sienna in it down here. And that's going to come this way. And then we've got another rock in the corner that helps turn your eye back into the painting. So I really like this rock right here. Make it a little brighter so it comes forward just a little bit more. And I'm going to do the same thing with this olive green right here. I'm going to add a little extra yellow so that it feels closer to us. Here's a little dry brush. So you take the brush sideways like this. And then when you pull it, it just leaves paint on the tops of the paper. So you get this nice texture going. And I'm going to put, when this has a chance to dry, I can put a little more dry brush on top of that. Then I also really like this little darker thing that's happening over here. A little water's getting by, but I like the way it stops your eye from going into the corner. I'm just going to let that come down that way. And now we're starting to build the path that your eye will go. So this comes this way. There's a little water squirting underneath there, but then it gets dark again. Over here, I'm going to use some umber, some Payne's gray, and we're going to just find this dark over here. It comes all the way down to here. This water comes squirting through here. This goes all the way to the side until we get up to that rock. Go around a little bit. Trying to keep it nice, juicy, and suggestive, and I want to hear the water. That's what I'm shooting for on this painting. I want to hear the water, but I'm not really interested in, boy, I missed 2 cracks on that rock. That doesn't matter, you know what I mean? So we're going to go back in with this, a little bit more of this green up here. Okay, and then we're going to go in with some grays. And so this is Payne's gray, but then I also have Davies gray to work with, which is a much lighter, warmer gray, which I think is appropriate for some of these rocks. And here's one of them. And I have to get some darker stuff in there too, but here's one of these more gray rocks. Here's a little bit more of a gray rock right here. That sounds like a development company. Hello, ma'am, I'm from Gray Rock, and we're going to be putting in a development next to your neighborhood. It's not that kind of quality to it. All right, I'm going to go Payne's gray here, a little bit more Davies. Now, the bluer rocks further away will feel further away because the blue in them. The hotter rocks, the ones that have more color, are up close, and they're going to pull closer visually. So that's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for getting that feeling, finding that feeling of the space in the painting. So here we go. This is going to come this way. So this is that little bit of water splitting. Okay, this all comes down like this. That just sneaks out of there over there. And then this is very dark up here. Go around those leaves. How are we doing on time? Good. Give me just another couple of minutes and I'm going to set you guys free. I noticed that some of the rocks show through some of this water. So I'm going to find a few of those places where the water, and then I'm going to take just a wet brush and just pull that up, and it will just go from dark to light because of that. I'm going to do the same thing here with some of these blue grays, and I'm going to let some of these be slightly darker where there's a hint of something back there. That's what that does. Same thing here. You can see the darker passages through here. We're going to suggest a couple of those coming down. And then soften them a little bit. Water doesn't have hard edges, you know. So take a little wet brush and soften those edges just a little bit. And then down here is where we get that pool again. We get this water, this comes all the way down to here, and then you get the haze of the water. And that's going to drop again. So I'm going to just give this a very light blue quality over here. And we're going to just soften it. I'm going to soften this edge so you get that hazy quality. Here's the water coming down over here. But I want this to have an edge on it. This water coming this way. I'm just going to do that all the way down to here. So you can find that edge of the water, this water coming down here. And then I've got to soften this edge of the water. I'm going to turn this sideways, take a damp brush, and I'm just going to start the water back a little ways. And then I push it right up to the edge of these colors so that this edge gets softened. Water isn't hard, so you have to soften that edge a little bit. Convince the eye that the water is sliding that direction. And we're going to soften coming this way as well. And then what happens up here? Well, a really neat thing happens here is it turns back in, the water turns back into the painting right here. And it does it via all these rocks right here. There's a rock here. There's another rock coming down right here. There's another rock on top of that right here. And another rock right here. So again, it creates that wonderful sort of line that we're going to get coming through this painting. And some of that can go a little bit darker too. We'll come back, revisit that after it's had a chance to dry a little bit. We've got this lovely thing falling here. And I think this needs a little bit more hint of stuff underneath this rock as the water comes sliding off of this rock up here. And then that comes that way, and then more rocks up through here. That water squirts through there. There's more water coming down through here. There's a little waterfall right there. But then this kind of fills in over here. These are all rocks in through here. All the way to, we're doing these rocks here. These rocks come all the way to here. But we're going to keep that edge so that the light comes through the middle of the painting and not off the sides. The light of the water. We've got, okay, so this is this here. This is going to be a rock right up in here. There's another rock right up in here. And I think I'm just going to suggest the stuff on the top. We've got, because I want you guys to have time to paint today. So this comes down and it's really a V. The water comes from two sides up here. So I'm just going to sort of suggest that. And then I want to get this darker over here because we want to trap that water in the middle of the painting, coming down the middle of the painting and not from the edges. So there can't be any light over here because that sort of implies the water kind of comes this way, all the way to here. Yeah, so the water's coming in from two sides and then spilling down here. So I'm going to get a little bit more of the water in there up at the top. Too purple. That's too purple. So let's just a little bit up here. Water coming down, water coming down. water squirting through here, coming that way, and also up at the top here. So quick demo, but I hope it sort of gets you on track in terms of what we're doing. You got to create the paths for the water in your painting. And then the rest is going to go a bit darker to sort of trap that water coming through. Like this goes darker, this whole corner goes darker. This goes darker up here. There's rocks all through here that I could spend a bit of time on. Rocks here, up a little bit higher. But the whole idea is to then get it so that this water comes through the painting. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I can come back to the
Totally.
The ones, especially the ones that are closer up, I can start creating more texture on. And you can use a sponge, or you can use the top of your brush and do a little bit of stippling to get this more texture on these rocks to create a sort of a mossy. So the closer things are, the more details you see. So you put the details in the foreground to pull those things closer. I'm exhausted. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording.
Do you paint